Hello, and welcome to my philosophy. Um, this is my presentation on my leadership studies program at NAIT. My name is Issa. Um, so, what I'm going to be talking about are going to be the things that I learned or changed my perception about in my time in leadership studies. The first thing we should know is who I used to be, so that we can compare who I am now and kind of see the differences that are that have occurred. So before we get started, things that we should know are I worked in several different fields, generally unrelated to one another. I worked in sales, I worked in the trades, I worked in security, I even worked as retail. Now, I knew that I had a lot of life experience after doing all these things. I didn't fully grasp the quality of leaders and mentors I learned from and was guided by. Now, prior to taking the course, I was very confident and conceited. I knew a majority of the things that would be discussed and taught, or at least so I thought. In the end, I was pleasantly surprised. I was wrong, and the experience highlighted several of my flaws. Just to name a few, my communication and the different types of motivation techniques, as well as types of leaders and the value consistently developing your vision. So going from this, the next things that I'm going to be talking about are pretty much who I am as is right now. So as I said before, I didn't fully grasp the quality of the leaders around me, and was often telling myself that I was a better leader. Now, these narcissistic thoughts prevented me from fully appreciating the people around me and the opportunities that were presented, as well as diminishing the value of everything around me. Now, Viktor E. Frankl once said, "The prisoner who had lost faith in the future, his future was doomed." I personally felt a connection with this because perception can change the situation. I personally felt dispirited and unmotivated, even though I had a vision, and reading Victor's excerpt from Man's Search for Meaning opened my eyes to the importance of faith and its impact on a person's dream. So for me to elaborate on that, what I'm talking about is when I first started in the personal fitness program, I personally had a vision. I knew exactly what I was going to get myself into and exactly how I was going to end up, and eventually how I was going to realize my dreams and my goals. And somewhere along the way, it got really, really difficult. And because it became really difficult, I ended up forgetting and losing myself on my path and stopped believing in myself. And this kind of really impacted my performance overall, everything that I was doing. Further on, I ended up reading about James A. Vaughan, and he explained that faith had a great impact on, he explained that a vision had a great impact on a person's life. So he pretty much explained how meaning and vision were inextricably intertwined and what aspects played into each other. So Vaughan also taught me about the importance of a clear image and how a compelling vision, painted in broad strokes, how the organization intends to grow and service its customers through individual, team, and organizational excellence. Now, moving on, things that I learned from social intelligence and the Biology of Leadership by Daniel Goleman and Richard Boyatzis emphasized the 6 different types of leader and when to use the methods. Before reading their methods, I only believed there was one type of leader. That was the pace setter, the guy that was always in front, showing everyone how it's done, and kind of just head rushing everything and expecting everybody just to follow suit. Of course, I was pleasantly, my eyes were opened, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that there are different ways. And the biggest thing that you need to understand when it comes down to this is it's better to change your leadership styles to a person's mood. Now, initially, I would have never thought that somebody's social cues would actually impact or influence the way they interpret my leadership. Now, if I can't convey my my leadership, how am I going to motivate? Let's say I was dealing with somebody who was very self-defeating. I would personally use a coaching strategy. Now, what I mean by coaching strategy is I would start by challenging them and then supporting them while they're working through it, trying to motivate them and trying to get them to understand that they're more capable and their limits are not what they believe them to be. I personally find this to be one of the more difficult aspects of the personal fitness industry. Now, in my time in leadership studies, I've developed a lot of skills. I have and I am very sure that these skills that I've developed, whether it be my motivational skills, my communicational skills, my just overall understanding of what leadership actually means, will definitely impact my future progression and my success. And I am almost 100% positive that along the lines of my future progression, my philosophy will definitely change. And as my philosophy changes, I'm sure my view of the world will definitely change with it as well. But majority of the things that I've learned in the program will still remain constant as far as leadership goes. Well, this is my presentation, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good one.